Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be looking at Solana. Before we jump into the analysis, I just want to say thank you for watching. If you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, why not hit the subscribe button, turn on those bell notifications, and leave us some feedback down below. Let us know what you guys are thinking. Do you guys think we got a bottom in here, or do you think we got lower to go? Always eager to hear back from you. Okay, so let's get into this. So what we were looking at with Solana, basically from this low point here, is I'm still looking for the potential that we are actually looking for a fourth wave correction. And basically this fourth wave, if I come back out here onto the daily, we're looking for potentially to come up into the zone here of this 3405 all the way to sort of the lower range of this, which we've already met, which is this 1585. So the 0.382 retracement is here at this 2388. So it is possible that actually we could be looking to be in that zone now of completion, though I'm really looking at it as a 5-wave move, so I wouldn't want to call it just yet. We'd have to see what happens after this 5-wave move plays out. It is possible that somewhere within here we have a corrective structure nestled in here as a double zigzag or something, but it seems too vertical for me to be looking at it just as that at the moment. So we just need to bear in mind that we're still looking for that potential for another drop to the downside, so we just got to give it a bit of time to prove itself. So within this smaller time frames rather, if I come back out here, so there's a few ways we can look at this. So basically what I'm looking at initially with this is that we could have actually completed a 5-wave move into this high point. And what we'd be looking for then is the potential of forming a bigger structure to the downside. And what we'd be looking for is potentially coming down towards this 14.13 area to this $10.22 as a deeper retracement. If this is the case though, what I'd be looking for potentially is to come and move back into this fourth wave. If we're going to go deeper here, we'd look to move into this fourth, bounce up, and then look to actually come deeper. Alternatively, we'd have to keep an eye on this previous fourth wave in here to see whether this correction actually looks to complete in this zone, and then we look at this as a potential 1-2 from here. So yeah, that's a few things that we're just going to be thinking about longer term. But basically within this structure, the way I'm currently looking at it is if this is completed into this high point here, effectively what we'd have to then argue is that we have a W wave down here. We could potentially be looking for this X wave to complete. So within this structure here, we can look at this as a few ways. So it is potentially possible we could see a triangle developing in here where this is an A, B, C, D, and then E. And what we'd be looking for is effectively within this to find support again on this line and then potentially look to break to the upside for this. So there's two ways we can look at this. We can look at this potentially as a triangle in the X wave, which would mean that we're actually going to break down. And if we break down from this current area, what I'd be looking for at a 1-to-1, let me get that right on there, mess that up, down to this low point, up into here. So 1-to-1 would bring us down towards this 1833 zone. So that would be something we need to just keep an eye on with this, that if we see this move down towards this 1833, then this could be a bigger corrective structure here. And then we would have to look at this as a W, X, and a Y to the downside. There's nothing really indicating any impulsiveness at the moment with this structure. Yeah, because we got this overlap. This wick up here comes up and sort of crosses all of these moves. So I wouldn't be expecting it to be a 5-wave move. I'm looking mainly for this to be developed as a basically as a corrective structure off of the current structure we have. So it is possible, however, that this X wave could also be extending. So the way we'd have to look at this, so we got to be careful with this triangle, because we can look at it in two ways. We can look at this as an A, B, C, D, and then E. And actually, if that's the case, we'd be starting to look to break down from this point, because what we would be looking at is that potentially this is actually completed now to the upside. And what we'd be wanting to see is a break to the downside here. So that's one way of looking at this. And the other way of looking at it is in the reverse, that we've had an A wave up here and that we've actually got a B wave in a triangle this way, where this would be A, this would be B, this would be C. Effectively would be potentially forming that D wave, and then we'd be looking for an E wave to the downside again. So the difference within this is basically, if we're looking at it in this case, the trend line would be slightly different and would be something like this. And then what this would be looking for is having a move to the upside as an A. All of this would be a B and a C to the upside. So if that's the case and we're looking at this as a move like this, what we'd be looking for then is effectively coming back down for this E wave and then looking to push up potentially up here to this 2361 at a 1-to-1 area. So this depends on how deep this E wave travels. I wouldn't expect this E wave to break the C wave low. So if we do actually break down past the C wave, either we've got a bigger triangle playing out here where the C waves become more complex and we get this as an A, a B, and a C, and then the C wave actually moves down slightly to this position. But crossing this low point here of this A wave at $20.41 would invalidate any possibility for a triangle, and we'd have to look at this then potentially being the other way around, like we're talking about making this E wave and looking to break down for this Y wave low point. So that's something we need to just keep an eye on. If we do move back above this B wave high, then it would invalidate the triangle. But we wouldn't really want to see this move up past that. We can have it break this trend line, which it's already done if we're looking at it the other way around. But we wouldn't want to see it break this high point here of this 2189. So like I said, this triangle could be looking to break to the downside. However, we could also form this triangle for as long as we hold this low point of this $20.41. We could form this triangle even if it extends out slightly more here, and then we could look to break to the upside. So depending on where this E wave exactly comes in, we'll adjust this top range target here. But basically then we'd be looking at this as a bigger W, X, and a Y to the downside. So it depends where we are. Basically, like I said before, we have that target range here that if we look at this triangle, this 1843, however, it could be slightly lower depending on where it comes in. So if we do actually move up here, we could still look at this as a corrective structure, and really only crossing the high point here of this $25 would invalidate that. Otherwise, we could still just have a corrective structure here and then break down for this Y leg at a later point. So we just got to watch this move to the upside. So there's another way we can look at this, which is slightly more of a bullish stance. And basically what this would be looking for is looking for some extensions. I'm going to turn this one off. So the difference within these moves is basically we're looking at the fact that we have an extension in the fifth wave in this case. And what this would be looking at is this potentially is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for a third wave completed up here. And then we could be looking for this fourth wave to the as completed or potentially completing. So what we'd be looking for here is effectively once this move has completed, the problem is we don't have good structure. And what we'd have to see here for this to play out is we'd then have to look at this potentially as a 1, 2, and then we'd have to look, the problem is the structure here is indicating three wave moves. So unless we form like a diagonal to the upside here, then it becomes unlikely that this is playing out. But we are in this fourth wave zone. So if we do start to get some good structure here, and what we'd be looking for potentially then is if I look at this, we'd look at this as a 1 and a 2 into these zones, and we wouldn't want to move back down past this area here of this 2041. And then we could look to potentially form something like this, where we form a diagonal here, and then we form a wave 2 again. And then we look to push up for that third wave. If we are looking at this kind of a possibility, this would require a lot of things to play out. Obviously, we wouldn't be able to break these lows as we make them. So if we're looking at the potential for a diagonal playing out, we wouldn't want to cross back below this $20.94. But basically what we'd be looking for is this target zone up here, this 2901 to this 2646. So if we do start to get some more moves to the upside here, it's possible that we could actually have this playing out, where we have this additional leg here. If we lose this 1960 area, effectively then what I'd be looking for is a deeper retracement into this 1413 area, all the way down to this 1022. So this would be a zone we could look to retrace. And if this was the case, potentially what we could be looking at here, if we do form this additional leg up, then what I'd be looking for is potential to come retest this wave 2 here. And what they would be looking for is, if I just throw this on to the bottom, obviously this is speculative, and it depends on whether we manage to move up into this fifth wave position. If we did move up here, we can see that it's not quite there, but this 50% is on this wave 2, so it is possible we could actually see this come down and retest that. If this does move it higher up into the box area, you know, we could look at potential that this wave 2 could be an area we look to retest before looking to push up again. So that's basically the two options I'm currently looking at. If we are in this, basically we'd be looking for that push up, and what we'd want to see is this additional fifth wave. However, if we're in the other option that we talked about, which is this one, and I'm going to just turn that one off again, then what we'd be looking for is the start of a move down in a corrective manner. And like I said, the current move isn't giving me impulsive structure yet, but we can still potentially look to the fact that we could see this as a WXY down, for instance, and this could form an A, come back up for a B, and then we get that deeper retracement in a C and a 5-wave move. So we just got to be mindful that within this structure we could start to see some choppy movements where we're forming lower highs, and then we start to see that drop off come down into this zone, and then we could start looking for that bullish potential. So that bullish potential would be looking for this move to potentially then become a 1, 2, or either an A, B, and a C to the upside. So if this 5-wave move is the start of a move, effectively we want to see this move back in here and breaking out again. So this might be an interesting area on a retracement to try and see if we're going to get some further upside. This might be an interesting area to enter a position. We can't give you financial advice, obviously, and this isn't financial advice, but this is what I'll be looking at myself, is if we do get this 5-wave move play out and we start to retrace and move back in here, provided the structure is correct on the way down, then basically what we'd be looking for is a potential position to look for a C wave or a wave 3 to the upside. So yeah, could be quite a good idea. The other thing I wanted to talk about within this structure is, if I turn all these off now, we were also talking about the potential that what if this is a corrective move, because we've already come up to that zone we were talking about as a 382. So just bearing in mind here that we could actually look to reject off this zone. So the only way we could really look at it in a corrective structure, and it's a bit of a push, but what we would be looking for then is the fact that this would be a W, this would be an X, this would be a Y, and then that would just be a corrective move as a basically as a double zigzag. So if we don't form this additional 4th and 5th up here, this could potentially be what happens, where this becomes an A, B, and a C, and then we actually look to break down. So if this is the case, and this would be a completed move, we could either, if it's corrective, we could either move down, find support, and still push up, or we could look at this as a completed move up, and we actually just look to break down and take these lows. So all of the bullish potential relies on holding this $8 zone. If we lose that, effectively every bullish potential that we have is gone, and we're still looking, in my opinion, for that 5th wave to the downside. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did and you enjoyed this update, please smash that like button. Let us know down below in the comment section. And if you're new to the channel and it's the first time you've watched us, or if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, you may as well hit that subscribe button and turn those bell notifications on so you never miss a video. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. I hope everyone has a great weekend. We'll see you in the next video. Take care out there, everybody.